Lou Dobbs looks into the camera and unveils the fastest method Trump can drain the swamp by US4Trump.com. Friday night on Fox Business, Lou Dobbs gave a few thoughts on D.C. and the affairs of the men and women in the nation's capital. Dobbs sums it up perfectly in his commentary with his no-nonsense truth while displaying everything clearly written boldly on the screen. The president was stopped by the press pool before leaving for New Jersey for the weekend, and he, without hesitation, he answered a few of the reporters' questions with some fiery statements relating to the swamp on Friday. The president told reporters that he defends his decision to revoke Brennan's clearance rather than silence an opponent, in turn giving the ex-CIA director a bigger platform. Many people don't even know who he is, the president said, adding, "I like taking on voices like that. I've never respected him." Who would respect John Brennan? John Brennan's security clearance was taken away because of his erratic conduct and behavior. Lou Dobbs blasted self-righteous swamp rat John Brennan Friday night after his security clearance was yanked from President Trump, and the swamp hates it. Dobbs explained Brennan has been publicly attacking Mr. Trump even while he was still director of the CIA, viciously so, and Brennan has broken with tradition and civility. He is the first former intelligence agency head to politicize his public service, to inject himself into presidential politics, and to recruit the heads of other agencies to attack the President of the United States. However, Lou Dobbs declared that Brennan is possibly guilty of far more. Possibly? Dobbs stated the president's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, says that Brennan was the central figure in orchestrating the phony Russia witch hunt and should be put in front of a grand jury. Dobbs asked, why did Brennan have a security clearance in the first place? He added, because that's how the swamp works. The usual excuse for retaining those security clearances after service as political appointees is to provide continuity or to preserve their knowledge should they be needed in a succeeding administration. Dobbs blasted that notion, stating, those clearances are actually coin of the swamp, enabling those who serve the nation to monetize their membership in a large and powerful club, the Washington establishment, right? Or as it's better known as the swamp. Dobbs got to the point, asking where were all the officials when Brennan was hurling insults at the president? Yeah, where were those officials when he was hurling insults to the president? No, but once you revoke his security clearance, that's when they all take offense to it. The sight of Brennan, James Clapper, and James Comey sitting like magpies on a fence attacking Mr. Trump should have drawn the notice of the former intel officials, Dobbs declared. Where were the officials when Brennan lied while denying the spying of the CIA on the Senate Select Intelligence Committee? Where were they when the Senate abdicated its oversight of the agency and permitted President Obama to politicize the CIA, DOJ, IRS, and FBI? Dobbs inquired. Yeah, where were they then? Shame on these 70 spy masters. In your little letter, you do yourselves a disservice in ignoring Brennan's sordid history, and you do the nation a disservice in not standing for our president and the Constitution, which requires congressional oversight of the very agency that those officials have led, Dobbs exclaimed. Lou Dobbs looks into the camera and unveils the fastest method Trump can drain the swamp. The president is the true patriot in all of this, and I hope he will end the wrong-headed convention of permitting wholesale retention of security clearances by political appointees, Dobbs said. Lou begged Please lift those clearances, Mr. President, and this swamp will drain a lot faster. Let's take a look here. Lou Dobbs, why did Brennan have a security clearance to begin with? Because that is how the swamp works.
A few thoughts now on D.C. and the affairs of men and women in the nation's capital. John Brennan, the CIA chief from 2013 to the end of the Obama presidency, has lost his security clearance, and the swamp hates that. President Trump took away Brennan's clearance because of Brennan's, quote, erratic conduct and behavior, end quote. Brennan has been publicly attacking Mr. Trump even while Brennan was still director of the CIA, viciously so. And Brennan has broken with tradition and civility. He is the first former intelligence agency head to absolutely politicize his public service, trying to monetize that service and inject himself into presidential politics, and to recruit the heads of other intelligence agencies to attack the president as well. And possibly Brennan is guilty of far more. The president's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, says Brennan was the central figure in orchestrating the phony Russian witch hunt and should be put, quote, in front of a grand jury, end quote. Why did Brennan have a security clearance to begin with? Because that is how the swamp works. The usual excuse for retaining those security clearances after service to an administration and the government as political appointees is to provide continuity or to preserve their knowledge should they be needed by the succeeding administration. Now that's not entirely bull, but mostly so. Those clearances are actually coin of the swamp, enabling those who serve the nation to monetize their membership in a large and powerful club, the Washington establishment, or as it's better known, the swamp. More than 70 former top intelligence officials have now criticized the president's lifting of Brennan's security clearance, and in a letter called the White House decision and remarks ill-considered. Now, where were all of those officials when Brennan was hurling insults at our president? That too was unprecedented and ill-considered in my judgment, and the sight of Brennan, James Clapper, and James Comey sitting like magpies on a fence attacking Mr. Trump should have drawn the notice of those same almost 70 former intel officials, but no. And where were they when Brennan lied and lied some more, when he denied the CIA had spied on the Senate Select Intelligence Committee? Where were they when the Senate abdicated its oversight of the agency and permitted President Obama to politicize not only the CIA, but the Justice Department and the FBI and the IRS, and the list goes on? Brennan's CIA spying on the Senate Intelligence Committee, lying to the very committee that has oversight responsibilities of the CIA, should concern and shock and anger every American. Shame on those 70 spy masters, and oh yes, your little letter. You do yourselves a disservice in ignoring Brennan's sordid history, and you do the nation a disservice in not standing up for our president and the Constitution which he serves and which requires congressional oversight of the very agency that those officials have led. The president is the true patriot in all of this, and I hope he will end the wrong-headed convention of permitting wholesale retention of security clearances by political appointees. Please, Mr. President, lift those clearances, and this swamp will be draining a lot faster.
That's right. He's spot on, is right. And I like the way he said the discounted security in reference to the security wholesale, in reference to the security clearances. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the only way to get rid of them. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.